Hello and welcome back to Baking on a Budget. Now in this episode we are going to make one of these. This is a sumptuous and absolutely beautifully delicious apple pie. Very simple to make. First of all, let me go through the ingredients and the costs of this. This is a short crust pastry and we're going to be using 220 grams of plain flour at a total cost of 12 pence. We're going to use 55 grams of unsalted butter at 38 pence. We're going to use 55 grams of lard at 11 pence, and we also have a pinch of salt and some cold water. Now for the filling, we're going to use 5 apples, and this is a total cost of £1. We're going to use 1 lemon, which is 10 pence. There's 40 grams of butter at 40 pence, and there is 40 grams of sugar at 5 pence. Also, we're going to use a teaspoon of cinnamon, it's about 5 pence, and we're going to use some corn flour, about 4 pence worth of that, two teaspoons of it, not much. So the total cost of this recipe is £2.25 for this whole pie, £2.25. We're going to get about 6 sumptuous slices out of that at 37 pence each. Okay, let's get to it. First thing is to prepare the fruit. And the first stage of that is to squeeze the lemon. We're going to use this lemon juice just to coat the apples once they are peeled, and that will stop them from browning before they go in the pie. So that's just 1 lemon, freshly squeezed, and we'll set that juice aside for later. Now the apples themselves, these are Braeburn apples, and I'm just going to peel them and then core them and then chop them up ready for the pie. All of the apples peeled, next thing we want to do is just chop them up. Now unfortunately I don't have apple corer. I did mean to get one, but I haven't got one yet. So just need to carefully take all of the core out of the apple and then slice them as you wish. Some people, you could do this thick sliced or you could do it thin sliced. Choice is yours really. And then we want to pop all those slices into the bowl. So right, so there we have all of the apples chopped, ready to go. Next thing we want to do is just coat them with the lemon juice. Now as I say, this will stop them from browning because we do need to let these stand for a while to let all of the natural juice come out of them before we put them in the pie. Right, that's good. Now next thing is we've got the sugar, 40 grams of sugar. Just going to pour that on there, like so. And we have cinnamon and apples, fantastic. Right, now we're going to mix all that in together. Just with the hands, get everything nicely coated. Okay, now that whole mixture, I'm going to put into this sieve, which is over the container. And the juices from that will just come through the apples, drain out of the apples, and collect in the container below. Alright, so we're just going to get the cling film over there, like that. And then we're going to set this aside for about 45 minutes to an hour and just let everything drain out of that. Alright, now as the apples are draining, we're going to get on with making the short crust pastry. As I say, there is a link on the screen there to a previous video of me going into detail about making the short crust pastry, but we're just going to run through it quickly here. If you've not made the pastry before, do take a look at the video and that will guide you through it. Okay, so for the short crust pastry itself, we want the 220 grams of plain flour, we want a pinch of salt, and then we have half the amount of flour in fats. So we have 110 grams of fat altogether, 55 butter, 55 lard. We're going to put that in there. This has been chilling in the fridge, by the way. And we're again going to rub that into the flour. Alrighty, so there the pastry mix has come together. That's come to a nice breadcrumb mix. Certainly a good workout for the fingers. And now we're going to add our 4 tablespoons of cold water to that. We may add a little more, we'll just see how that works out. So again, we want to cut the water into the flour mix so that we're not overworking it with our hands. Right, that pastry is looking good. Knock that into a ball like so, and then bit of cling film over it and into the fridge. Alright, now we're going to put this pie together in this enamel dish. This is a 9-inch enamel dish, and what I'm going to do with it right now is just put some lard around it to stop the pastry from sticking. A nice coating of lard right the way around the dish. And that will do it. And at this point the pastry should be ready to start rolling out. Right, so here we have the pastry back out of the fridge, nice and cooled. Take that out. Now I'm just going to chop that in half. It's not a very deep case, this, or dish. I think half and half for this will be just fine. Right, we'll lightly flour the board. Let's get that into the beginnings of a circle. There it is. A little bit of flour on the pin, and then we just want to roll this out. And that should do it. Okay, so we want to roll that up onto the pin, like that. We've got the dish, and we just unroll it over the dish. Now, as usual, we want to push that down right into the corners. Put a few prong holes in the bottom of it. We'll tidy that up just with the back of the knife. Okay, that's beautiful, ready to go. So we're going to get the next piece of pastry. I'll just put this over here for now. The next piece, and we want to do the same, we just want to roll that out. This is going to be the lid, and we want to roll that out to about the same size. Now with this piece I'm going to roll out just to make some decoration for the top here. We'll just make a few leaves or something like that for the top of it. We can take a knife and just cut a straight-ish line down there, and then we want to just cut on the angle, squiggle on them with the knife, and they should just open up. Just a bit of decoration on the pie and to estimate the portions. That's all that's for. Right, so we have them ready, we have the top ready, we have the case itself ready. Next thing to do is prepare the apples. So the apples have been standing for about an hour, and if we take the cling film back off the top, we can see that in the bowl underneath, all of the juice, cinnamon and sugar, syrupy stuff, has drained out of them at this point. So we'll set the apples aside. Now, in the pan I have 40 grams of butter. I'm going to add the juice, and I'm also going to add, in here we have 2 teaspoons of water and 2 teaspoons of corn flour. And this is going to thicken up. We're going to melt this down, and it'll thicken up into a really nice syrup, which we'll coat the apples with as they go back into the pie. And we're just going to heat that up, melt the butter, allow that to thicken, and once it's thickened it'll be ready to coat those apples. That's just a couple of minutes, and you can see there that's coming together beautifully into a nice thick syrup. Alrighty, so the apples go back into the bowl. The syrup goes over the apples. Superb. And then we just want to make sure all those apples get nice and coated with the syrup. Stir them around in the bowl like that. Looking very good. One has escaped. Alright, now you may be able to hear the oven whirring around in the background, and that is because we are almost there. We are almost ready to get this in the oven. Now we want to flatten this down, fill up any spaces, and we just want to leave a little rim around here to seal it. And before we put the lid on, I'm just going to brush around the edges there with a little water. That will seal it up. So now we want the lid of the pie, and we want to just put that over the top. Now I'm just going to lightly press that in with my hands, And once that's done, so happy with that, then I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to crimp that all the way around. There it is. Now, once more, we will take the excess off, and then last but not least, we're going to put some egg wash on there, just to allow that to brown up nicely. Looking good. And now we can put our decorative leaves on there. And as I say, that's going to give us 6 generous, very generous portions. So just once more over the top of the leaves with the egg wash. And each slice of that pie, which is going to be a very ample slice of pie, is going to cost about 37p. Now I'm going to put a few little breathing holes in the top of it. Sorry, I can't find the skewer. I'll just use the back of the tin opener, anything really, just to make a little hole there, to allow the steam to come out of that so that it doesn't burst when in the oven. Okay, now I think you'll agree this is already looking absolutely beautiful. I'm going to put a little bit more egg wash on. And then I'm going to put that in the oven. Now that's going in a fairly hot oven. It's going in at 190 degrees and it will stay there for about 45 minutes. So here it goes. Okay folks, the pie is out of the oven. And look at that. Doesn't that look absolutely delicious? I think that looks delicious. Smells absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to get stuck into that. That is a plate apple pie. It's 6 portions and the total cost of that is £2.25, making that 37p per portion. Look at that. This is the taste test. That's still steaming, just a little, fresh out of the oven. Now I'm not putting anything on there. I haven't put any custard, or you could have this with ice cream, with whipped cream. Many things you could put on here to embellish it, but I just want to try it by itself and just see what this tastes like as a fresh, out of the oven apple pie. Look at that, delicious. The apples are beautifully soft. The pastry is nice and crisp. I can just taste the cinnamon coming through in it. That is one gorgeous apple pie. Let me tell you, it doesn't get better than that. That pastry is beautiful. Those apples are still holding their form, still chunky sort of apple. As I said, if you've enjoyed the video, if you'd like to see more videos of this nature, do consider subscribing to the channel. Many more videos to come, and delicious recipes at an absolute rock bottom price. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this pie. Thank you.